Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Eagle Eye Podcast, episode 28. And we're home. We're at our new home, actually. To be quite candid, we're on a new channel, and hopefully there'll be many of you coming over from the previous channel to come and support the new Eagle Eye Podcast YouTube channel. We have a lot to talk about, ladies and gentlemen. At the beginning of the Apertura is upon us. That means our Aguilas del America will be starting to play regular football. And oh, I know we miss it. We miss it so much. But and we're finally gonna have our Aguilas come back into our lives. We're gonna be talking from everything from injuries to transfers to potential transfer rumors to squad depth and everything above that. But before I get any further, let me introduce my co-host, Mr. Dylan Jimenez. Dylan, how are we today?
We're good, man. We're good after my filled power here. Kind of scary, leading up to the podcast. But, it's back on and, obviously we're going.
Dylan was cracking up right before the beginning of this podcast because he thought that he had a couple of, a little bit longer to say a joke, in which, granted, he did, but he barely missed that mark just by a couple of seconds.
I'm telling you, if anybody's seen All About the Benjamins, whenever I forgot his name, but it's Mike Epps though. When he's in there in the store and he's like buying the lottery numbers and everything. I just think that scene is hilarious. It's my favorite scene in the movie.
He's been telling me that right before we go on, and I'm just like, no, this is gonna spill out. People are gonna think this is the potato chip podcast. It's not what I want them to think.
You're gonna have to tell me all the time because I like potato chips.
And indeed, we can reverse that and have it say America or something like that. But either way, that's neither here nor there. Right now, what we have is a lot to talk about. Dylan, there's no place like home, and it finally feels like home. You with your America jersey, me with my America jersey. We're finally back from the mess that was the World Cup. Obviously, the World Cup's still going on right now, but we have more pressing matters at hand. It's Club America. Las Aguilas del America will return to our homes, to our screens come Sunday on July 22nd. Am I correct?
Yes, the 22nd. Yes.
22nd, we face up against Necaxa. We will have a full preview match podcast for that game as well. Today, we're going to break everything down on a more broader perspective. We're going to be talking about the whole Apertura. We're going to be talking about the whole season and what we expect of America to do within these next couple of months, who we think is going to be important for our side moving forward. And we're going to talk about these injuries because, ladies and gentlemen, we're starting to look like a hospital yet again. Dylan, so much to talk about, so much to do, so little time at hand. Are you ready to jump into what should be a really, really fun time?
Yes. Let's get down to this.
Alrighty. Well, first on the agenda is to talk about, trying to remove my notes right here. Well, let's just dive in here and let's talk Apertura 2018. How's the team looking like coming into the start of this new season? Obviously, we've had a couple preseason friendly games in which, let's say, even though the results gone our way, maybe the matchup is not exactly perfect. Of course, a couple of injuries, a couple of players that are going to be missing the beginning, and one of them, of course, being Jeremy Menes, who's going to miss the whole entire Apertura. So, how is the team looking like coming into this Apertura 2018? How are you looking at this America side with the injuries? With we'll go into detail about maybe the lack of full 90 minutes performances and just everything really that's surrounding the club right now.
I mean, you see it. You see it though, and you do get a little nervous. I do get a little nervous sometimes looking at this losing Menez because Menez was doing some great things in the preseason too, and especially Cecilio Dominguez too losing them. But I like to see this too. I like to see this team and what they can do through adversity and what Piojo brings out of them in this adversity part two, especially before the beginning of the season too as well.
You bring up Yoho, and he's going to be an important person in this season. Obviously, his second full season at charge with Club America. What is it that we're expecting from Piojo?
Well, I mean, a lot of things really. Obviously, missing out. Twice. On titles or three times you could say on titles. Obviously, crashing on the Clausura. I'm not in the Clausura and the Apertura too as well, and the Conca Champions too as well. I mean, really, you expected to see some titles with this team too as well, but you did it, and back to back like three times in a row, semifinal exits in all tournaments. And so, you're going to want to see Piojo actually take this team to beyond that. You're going to want to see this team make the final. You're going to want to go out and see a championship too. And I think that's what everybody expects.
Yep, I think I think the goal here is for America to not just only perform on the pitch and to display beautiful football, but to be the dominant team that we know that we can be. And then, of course, the ultimate objective is Piojo needs to bring home a title, at least a title. One title will justify enough for him to continue as the head coach. Otherwise, I think we could definitely be seeing the end of Piojo Herrera at Club America.
Yeah, I mean it's really good to be up in the air. It's really good to be on thin ice, and I think he really is on thin ice right now too, especially after that. I mean, granted, you do see that we lacked in some areas too, and I feel like right now with the signings that we have, and going forward too as well into the season, I feel like we can make more a justifiable um, just not adjustment observation and more of a judgment in this coming season too as well with this season coming up, especially in the left back position, and having a new number 9 too up top as well.
So let's talk about those, and let's talk about what that means for the team because we didn't go out and do a Cruz Azul, which Cruz Azul looks like they bought about 462 players, and we just ultimately ended up buying three. And I said it before previously. I said it. This is before the injuries and everything happened. I said I look at the team we had previously. I liked it. I look at the signings we made. Not the biggest names, and definitely not the biggest players you could possibly have gotten, but they are good players, and that looks like they secure positions that we needed depth in. Example, left back position. And I think many people will say, well, that's all we have is one left back, Luis Reyes. I beg to differ. I think we can always see Carlos Vargas playing that position, which I think me and you both will not want to see that happen this season. And I think the incorporation of this new young player, Jorge Sanchez, I think him coming into the side, his natural position is a right back, but he did play left back against Pachuca in a preseason friendly, and he looked absolutely amazing. Gave a wonderful assist to Cecilio Dominguez, and really, I hope he gets some minutes there as well. Because let's be honest, Paul Aguilar, if he stays healthy, you see him as the starting right back, no questions asked.
Right, most definitely too. And it's good to play that versatility too as well, being versatile.
It is. So I think we have two very good left backs. One obviously being more of a natural left back in Luis Reyes, and then George Sanchez, who can fill both spots, either left back or right back, which is going to be great to have. And then I think if you look up top, where we said was kind of the one area we needed to strengthen the most after the left back position, because we needed a potent goal scorer. We needed someone that has that kind of, you know, presence in the box and can get you goals when needed and when he has them in front of him. And I think the addition of Roger Martinez, a player who both of us did not know anything about this player, only just that he scored one time in Europe against Real Madrid, playing for Villarreal. He had played at Racing. He looked like he was, kind of just migrating, floating from team to team. But hopefully, he's found his home here in America, and he debuted not that long ago against wow, why am I forgetting? Against Morelia, scoring two goals, two vital goals that would give America the victory in that preseason friendly game. So he looks good. He looks like he's getting into the rhythm, but of course that's preseason, and when you play down in Mexico, that's a whole different scenario. Which let's hope he can adapt to quickly, and he can be kind of that number 9 presence that we need.
Yeah, definitely. No disrespect to Roger Martinez, but I mean, you look at the club, and the names are linked to the club too. It's really disappointing to see not none of those names signed to the club too as well, such as De Jong, Boss, Baca, and a couple of others we can name off the bat. But seeing Roger Martinez do some good things in preseason too is also a good sign too as well. It's just disappointing as well not to see some of those big names that were linked to America not get signed either.
No, I feel you. I feel you. I understand. And I'm gonna put my neck on the line here. And I don't know what it is about him, but when I see him play, when I see kind of what he brings to the table, I want to say, and a lot of people might think I'm crazy for saying this, but I'm putting it out there. I think he can be and grow to be as big of a player and as an important of a player as Salvador Cabañas was for America. So
But putting your neck right there on the guillotine right there.
it
I tell
is.
you.
It is because that's a lot of that's a lot of responsibility. That's huge. That's going up against a goal scorer that proved time and time again that he had a lot in him. But I see the way Roger moves. I see the way that he's kind of hungry. He kind of has this kind of rhythm to his game that he wants to look for goal. He wants to find it. He's always asking for the ball. He doesn't seem to be too shy off of it. And I think he can definitely be that number 9 that we definitely needed. And as long as he does more than whatever Silvio Romero has done for us when he was here, I think fans will be more than happy.
I mean, do you see him being this way though? I mean, because like I feel like we're in the same shoes that we were in the Clausura whenever we were talking about Henry Martin too as well.
Now, yes, you make a great point because at this stage we are maybe getting a little bit carried away because we're America fans, because we're fans of the sport, and because soccer fans in general just love to capitalize on these moments. But yeah, we were kind of in that situation where yes, maybe we're getting a little bit carried away. 2 goals in his debut. Yes, that's amazing. Could have had a hat trick, of course, but I think ultimately, I think certain players give you a certain vibe, and I think the thing with Henry, I think me and you both discussed about it. It was the fact that he didn't get continuously regular game time uh at the number 9 spot for America whenever he was kind of starting to grab form. Jeremy Menes comes in, he has to start riding the bench, and he's not really like the same player after that. Of course, I mean, you're scoring goals for fun and then your manager benches you. That kind of puts a toll on a player. So I think Henry could have possibly been that player that me and you kind of just talked up and said all these great things about him. If it wasn't for Pio Correa's decision to put him on the bench, and for Roger Martinez, as long as he keeps doing what he's doing, I don't see why he would even have to ride the bench, and he could potentially be the player that I think he can be.
So basically, we're saying if we're looking for a number 9 option off the bench, because I think me and you can both agree that it's looking likely that Oribe Peralta is going to be starting the first game of the season with the captain's armband. So you think if we were to sub off Oribe, we would choose Roger over Henry?
Yeah, yeah. I at this point probably. I mean, to be honest, I haven't seen much from Henry Martin in this preseason either. Unless in these next 2 games he goes and scores 3 goals in each matchup, then I don't see exactly why it is that Henry starts over Roger, you know. And
Mhm.
I mean, I could potentially be wrong because Pio Herrera could be like he's not ready to play in the altitude just yet. So it's going to be a tricky situation, but hopefully by the time Sunday arrives, we'll have a better understanding of what the starting 11 is going to be.
Yeah, I think it would be a good battle too, right there for that number 2 spot, pretty much too as well. Of who Piojo's going to trust coming off the bench. I think it's good competition for Henry and even Oribe Peralta too as well.
I know this is not the podcast where we're going to be talking and diving deep into into the Necaxa game. But if I'm just kind of gonna throw my 2 cents in here, I'm saying 4-4-2 for that game.
Yeah, yeah, I think it's so too, because
Because you can't really go 4-2-3-1 anymore because your cam, which was Jeremy Menes, is out, and I really really don't see Diego Lainez starting. And we'll talk a little bit about why he could potentially be missing that game as well.
yeah, yeah, I agree.
So, I give me what you're feeling about the squad in general. You look at the players we have, you look at the depth we've had, you look at the positions that we kind of lacked reinforcements in, and now we've got that. Do you finally think we have a well-rounded squad, or do you think we still lack a little bit of depth in certain departments?
Well, before the injuries, I feel like we had a well-rounded squad, and then you look at the injuries and you see that we're potentially lacking something really. I mean, like we said, Menez obviously doing good things in the preseason. We're liking what he did. Cecilio too as well, and so you think to yourself, we're gonna have to go out and get another player. Or I mean, you talked about it too. Santiago Banos, was saying that it's a possibility that another player come in, but they're also not gonna overlook. The the players in the academy either.
That's right, play the babies. That's what we've always wanted. That there's a couple of us out there. I'm not gonna put names out there, but you guys know who you are that don't want to see the youth come and prosper in that sense. But I think these are the perfect moments to kind of give these youngsters the opportunity. And I say this because I feel like even with these two injuries, which are very, very crucial, very, very vital injuries to America, I think even with these injuries, I still feel we have a well balanced squad with enough talent, with enough depth to get us through the season.
Yeah, I think so. And the only thing that sucks though is you see the players that we loaned out too, and given the situation that it is now, these players could have easily came in and have given the opportunity to get some minutes too with the first team as well.
I don't know. I think I disagree with you on that one because they've had their shots, they've had their opportunities. They didn't really capitalize them as big and as great as possible. So I think, look, it's wonderful for them to go get this opportunity, go to another team, get regular minutes. Now let's give it to other canteranos and see what they're capable of doing, and see whether or not they can stand out and be better than the ones we loaned out. You know, ultimately, would I like another player to come in? Maybe. But that leaves the question, is he just going to be a temporary fix, or are we bringing in someone who we know is definitely going to stick around and be a kind of referente in the squad for the long run? Because let's be honest, if you're just going to bring in just a whatever name from South America, stick them into the side, now you're carrying an extra foreigner slot only just to realize, wow, I'm getting Cecilio Dominguez back. Wow, I'm getting Jeremy Menez back. What am I going to do with this ex player that maybe in 6 months has still yet to adapt to the team? That's my main concern, that we buy just to buy, and that we've always said that on this podcast. We don't want the team to go buy just to buy. This is just a waste of money, and definitely a waste of a slot that a youngster could definitely come in and do a good job about it. I think the players that we have now, they've adapted to the altitude. They have adapted to the style of Pio Herrera, and they look like a very good unit. That's important. Now, if we bring someone in and kind of maybe throw off the balance of said unit, then that's when things can get pretty bad in the sense of playing style, rhythm, all that stuff. Ultimately, I don't even know what player we would even go for, because I think we have such a good squad, such versatile players that that I know are capable of coming in and kind of running the show when needed. So I think for the most part, I think the club is doing the right thing at the moment, holding off. Look, if there is a player that we know we want to get, we know we want him to be here for a long time, then let's get him. Because then, what about Jeremy Menez? Is he no longer going to be important, or we just kind of discredit him? What happens when he's ready to come back? Is he just going to be riding the bench? Is he going to come back into the starting spot? What's going to be about the new player? So many questions to be asked just if you throw in an extra variable in the equation. When I think you can just say, look, we'll give the youth a proper opportunity to go and showcase it, and hope for the best in that sense. But we still have a very, very strong squad, not just to get us through the season. I think it's important, not just to get us through the season, but to compete for the title.
Yeah, competing is what we all about. But I think the likes of maybe Marin and Cordova. Well, it's kind of a little tongue twister for me there. I feel like those guys could have had a shot too this season, given the opportunity that they'd have with these injuries coming on too. And so we'll be ready to see as it goes along too as well. I know we've seen a couple of youngsters already come into this preseason and do some good stuff too as well. We're seeing a lot of good things from them too as well. I get the idea of like, if we bring in said player, then what's going to happen to him after we get back to Cecilio Dominguez? What happens when we get back Jeremy Menez? Because I read reports after Cecilio's operation, looks like maybe he can be back sooner rather than later, which is always a good thing too as well. It's just like you said, the club is doing this great thing. I just see it too, like a couple players that went out on loan could have really stayed at America and benefited too here as well.
I mean, I could see Cordova maybe, yeah, maybe being proven to be a little bit more versatile, more vital. I just haven't look. Marin's been at the club and gotten his chance for the past couple of years. Hasn't really exploded. Hasn't really done much to kind of be like, yes, look at me. When you look at youngsters, especially in that striker position, you have a lot of you have a lot of expectations because look at the player who came before you. Who's the last big Mexican player to do it coming off the youth academy and make it into the first team?
Jimenez.
Jimenez, Raul Jimenez was the last player. So you need to emulate something close to that, which is not easy by any means necessary. So we as a fan base, we kind of say hold them up to that standard. If they can't get to that standard, then that means that they're not ready yet, or that maybe they're not the player for us, because we need them to do certain things. We need them to be kind of that, presence in wow, I don't even know what I'm trying to say, the word that's coming out. I think it's just because I'm trying to say it in Spanish but translate it to English. But point is, the kids that do come in and get the opportunities, if they don't showcase that, and if they don't really showcase to the fans or to the manager, most importantly, that they can hold their own in that position the way Raul Jimenez did, then you start to question, is this player really the player that America needs up top? And I think Marin hasn't been that player.
I think you're talking about Widow Diaz too, a little bit there too.
Both of them. And you know what the worst part is these are two very, very, very good players. I mean, very good players that have broken it in the in the other under 21 academies and in that league. Proven goal scorers there, but it's just it feels like when they get this opportunity, it's just like it's just day and night sometimes with them,
Mm-hmm.
So that's just my take on it. I know where you're going for, and I wish that these kids would do more to kind of fill that gap and fill that eye. But I mean, now you have players like Diego Lainez who are really stepping it up too. So now you need to see that they have to go and kind of emulate that as well.
Yeah, exactly.
So I mean, but you're right. We do have a lot of talent that's showcased themselves in this preseason. I think a great player is Ivan Aguilar. I think he was a great player against Pachuca in the midfield. Again, really, really looked like a very solid midfielder. Hopefully, he gets some minutes. I could see him. Fer Gonzalez, another great striker who looks amazing.
That's what I was thinking about. I couldn't remember his name exactly, but that's what I was thinking about too as well.
Yeah, Fer Gonzalez is another great striking option. And you know what? We were definitely complaining about this position in the Clausura last season. We only had Uribe and Henry Martin. That was only the real two, plus maybe Guado Diaz. Now it looks like we have 4 strikers. We have Roger Martinez, Uribe Peralta, Henry Martin, and Fer Gonzalez, who I mean, he looks like a great player.
I mean, like we said though, it's preseason. It's different when it comes down to being in Mexico too, and what he can showcase if he does get that opportunity with the first team as well.
That's true, because it's one thing to play in McAllen, Texas, and it's and no disrespect at all, by no means necessary, but it's one thing to play there, and then it's another thing to go play in that giant stadium that is the Estadio Azteca.
Exactly.
So and we always say this. Whenever a game starts or whenever we're covering a game in preseason, we always say, let's not try to read too much into it. But I think at the same time, we read too much into things sometimes, because I mean, I find me and you sometimes we just go on and talk about things, and then I have to step back and say, no, wait, this is only preseason. We can't read too much into it. We can read into tactics and into what the team's formation is going to maybe look like, what Piojo wants to do, what kind of style he wants to play. We can't really read too much into a player, because of course it's only preseason. You have to take in effect that maybe the other team is not as informed as maybe us. So that means that maybe it was a much lighter game than it would be in the regular season. So yeah, we can't really take too much into consideration when it comes into friendlies, but we can take away some certain key points. And I think the fact that some of these players look like they've gotten confident, that they've gotten ready, that they look more healthy, they look more athletic. I'll give you a perfect example. I think Ibargüen, I think is just looking amazing. I think just give him a little bit more time, and I think he could be a great player for us.
Yeah. A good thing about these friendlies too is, if you want to try something new, you try it. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, you throw it away. That's the beauty of this too. You see what things work, how things work, and how things don't work either.
Yeah, this is the perfect time for Piojo to try the pterodactyl formation. Whether he'll do it next game or not, that's up to him. Or the Stegosaurus one, whichever. I don't care, but just try it out. Try something new.
Oh man, you've been watching too much Jurassic Park again.
Maybe. Actually, there's a funny story that goes into that. I guess I got time to share it. So basically, in high school, when we were playing for school, we had a coach, and we would joke around in practice, like, "Oh, pterodactyl formation, this, and that." And I forget what school we were playing up against. We were the home team. We were crushing them like 4-5-0, and the coach just yells out of nowhere. He's like, "Pterodactyl formation!" And I kid you not, the defender looks over at his bench, and for some reason, with this scared look in his eyes, yells at the coach, "We need 5 more defenders. We need 5 more defenders." I was like,
God,
how do you even know what pterodactyl formation was? But um, yeah, we should try it out one time. I think America should just go one time against Manchester United. It's a perfect opportunity to try that out.
I wait to see that. I can't wait to see that pterodactyl formation.
Go pterodactyl formation. Hashtag that, people. Hashtag it. But um, let's now that we're talking about preseason friendlies, I think one thing that we do take away from preseason friendly is the form that that the team is as a whole. Because sometimes players are at different levels, but I think as a team as a whole, I think America's been doing good. I feel confident. I feel safe in saying that because you look at the trajectory we've had: 4 games in a season, 4 victories. Obviously, not the prettiest of football we've ever seen, and definitely not the football we want to see come Sunday against Necaxa and Aguascalientes. But I think in general, I think these victories add to add to the motivation of the players. It makes them, maybe a little bit more uplifting, and says, okay, we're getting the results in preseason. Now, the most important thing, of course, is actually making sure that those results continue in the regular season.
Right, right. Yeah, that's the most important thing too. The only thing that's one thing I kind of touched upon. I know it's preseason. I know we kind of touched upon that. But the last game, you see the starting 11, and you see the way that the team is playing in the first half of the game. And that's really not how you want the team to see the play. Whenever it's our strongest lineup that we can put out there. So, but still, man. I mean, like you said, just viewing those little things. Getting that victory to build the confidence. That's all that matters in the end.
Yeah. It was a little worrisome to see the team kind of play so poorly. I think I mentioned it in my article. There was no real structure at the beginning. It looked like players were kind of not even in game mode. They were kind of switched off. The defense, really, I mean, 2 players that were very solid for us, Bruno Valdez and Emmanuel Aguilera, two just absolutely having nightmares of a game back there. They looked like they were playing with each other for the first time. A lot of miscommunication, a lot of positioning errors. I think there's a lot of things that needed to be, fixed, and hopefully things do get fixed. Of course, their next friendly to kind of end the Tour Aguila is going to be against Atlas in Fresno, in which we'll talk about that game because that game is a little bit important for the podcast, and we'll discuss those details come later in the pod. But really, let's hope that things do change for that game. And of course, I think me and you have talked about it. I think the game that's really going to decide whether or not we're really fully ready and capable of contending for the title is going to be that preseason friendly against Manchester United.
Yeah, I really think so. That's going to be a pivotal point too, as well, because I feel like that's when Piojo's going to put the strongest and the best 11 he can put out, and actually take that game, to the extent like if it was a regular season game too, and having his players play the best he can and making those tactical changes if needed.
And I hope for the sake of the team that we continue the good form and the good results. A lot of people say, well, sometimes the teams that win all their preseason friendlies don't do that well in the regular season, but that's other teams. We're America. We're expected to win 100% of the time, and we have no excuse whatsoever why we can't do that.
Exactly, exactly.
So, with that said, I think we talked about the preseasons and we talked about what we expected. Now let's jump into what is the Apertura. Well, we obviously know that we have 2 players missing for the opening matches. One is gonna be missing the whole Apertura in Jeremy Menez, Cecilio Dominguez. Do we know the status, the extent of his injury, how long he's gonna be out?
Last I heard, 2 to 5 weeks, but the surgery went well. I think he's a little ahead of schedule, maybe, so we could see him sooner rather than later.
So 3 weeks tops, if what was what you're trying to say.
That's what I'm basically trying to say.
Okay, Dylan has said that Cecilio Dominguez is gonna be back in 3 weeks. If he isn't, make sure you guys do, bash his Twitter account, let him know why he's spreading these fake news to you via the podcast. Um, but hopefully you're right. Hopefully,
Well, I did say 2 to 5, so it could fall in between there.
we'll see. We'll see. But hopefully, because he was looking amazing in preseason. I mean, amazing. The guy had what I think it was a total of 4 goals, and it's just like what it just sucks. It's like what happened? Why are we the ones suffering the consequences? What have we done?
Exactly. The FIFA gods hate us right now, I guess. I
And you
blame
know
it.
what?
I blame it on Cruz Azul moving to the Azteca, and
You're not.
then them,
You're not.
them
You're
trying to them trying to say it's their home when it's clearly not. So I
it's
blame it
not.
on Cruz Azul.
You know why? Because look whose emblem is on the seats, and that will tell you whose
Exactly.
home that is.
Exactly. And then is it this season too that we're apparently the away team, even though we're still in the Azteca?
Yeah,
Whenever,
yeah, yeah. It was October 27th.
yeah, yeah. So apparently we're gonna be the away team that game. I don't understand how still, but
We won't. We'll make it loud enough to be like this is our home.
yeah, exactly.
But I mean, ultimately the injuries are just ridiculous. If you look at the way that Mena's injury is on his own, ridiculous on his own, wrong footing, slips, trying to charge for a ball, lands on his bad knee. Like, what are the odds? What
Slim
are
to
the
none.
odds? Game with about 6 to 7 minutes left to go before it ends, and Jeremy Menes just happens to slip and lands on that bad knee. And you're like, okay. And then the next game, Cecilio Dominguez goes in for a ball. The Morelia player comes in crashing to him, hits him to the point where he's busted his jaw. The Morelia player is able to continue like if nothing happened. Literally like if nothing happened. And Cecilio Dominguez needs to be stretchered off. Like what that's worse than FIFA luck.
Playing American football here is what it looked like when I first saw that.
Exactly. It was like, what's going on? It's ridiculous. The fact that we have all this kind of bad luck in the sense because this is something that's not even new to us. What happened last season? How many injuries did we get? How many players were out for an extended period of time because of injuries? It's ridiculous. We can't be like this. We can't be a hospital in a sense. We're just gonna have to ride it out and we'll hopefully keep everyone healthy. I mean, Diego Lainez is even injured. I think he's almost to full recovery, but the reason why we haven't seen him feature in these preseason games was because that he was carrying a knock from the Toulon tournament.
Yeah, and muscle fatigue too as well,
And
which really
muscle
sucks.
Jesus. And with all of that, the under 21 still calls him up to go play in the Central America games.
Oh yeah. I forgot about that. I forgot. God, Lee, man, there's no
So
no rest for him. No rest for him. It feels like, man.
no rest for him. So coming up to the season for the first opening, I want to say what 3-4 games, we most likely won't be counting on Cecilio Dominguez, Carlos Vargas, Diego Lainez.
Hmm.
And the reason why I put up Diego Lainez and Carlos Vargas there is not because of injury, but because they will be going down with the under 21 national team playing those Centro Americano games. The only player that could potentially get permission to stay is Diego Lainez. They're still gonna see about that. Hopefully, if he is definitely gonna stay, if they are gonna appeal for him to stay, he needs to be getting minutes. I mean, starting minutes.
Starting minutes.
Cause let's be honest. I mean, you can't say, okay, Diego Lainez, I need you to stay, only for him to ride the bench and not see any minutes.
Well, I mean, dude, I mean, okay, let's be honest. I mean, I can only see him starting if it's gonna be a 4-2-3-1. I mean, if we're gonna ride a 4-4-2, I mean, I don't really see him starting over Ibargüen or Renato Ibarra.
Me neither. But I think that we switch to a 4-2-3-1 come the second half. And I think if Diego Lainez comes in, gets up, starts showcasing what we all know he can do,
Hmm.
and then I think Pio Herrera for the next match goes 4-2-3-1.
I mean, I see that, but I mean, at the point when it comes to the first game, I don't really see Linus starting. I mean, I can
No,
see
no,
that.
I don't see him either. I'm just saying he's gonna be great to have on the bench for that game, and I think he goes and he showcases because he's that type of player. I think afterwards, he just gets that starting position because really, I really don't see Oribe Peralta staying in the starting 11.
Our captain. I mean, I get it. Why? But I mean, like, he's our captain too, as well.
No, I get that. I get that he's our captain, and trust me, no one has much more respect for Oribe Peralta than I do. But you need to know when it's your time to step aside. And I think this is the time for Oribe Peralta. He's going to be great coming off the bench. He's going to be great starting every other game. He's going to be great for us this season. I know he is because he's not going to be as fatigued. He's not going to be as tired. I just don't see him starting.
So we're giving the armband to Aguilar now.
I mean, I'd be crazy enough to give it to Diego Lainez, but a lot of people would hate me for saying that. But yeah, probably Paulo Aguilar, which we have both said is not a good captain. I think we both know that. I think we both don't like him as a captain, you know? But I mean, we still got we got a lot to kind of break down about this opening matchup. It looks like Dylan, are you still there? It looks like you had a little bit of technical difficulties.
Yeah, I'm here now.
Okay, good. Like I said, it's never a show without these technical difficulties. So we talked about the injuries. We talked about these players that are potentially going to miss. Let's talk a little bit about a breakthrough player for this season because we always have it. I think last season was Mateus Uribe
Uh-huh.
and Guido
Okay.
Rodriguez. This season, who do you got under breakthrough player?
I mean, I feel like he's already broken through, but I feel like this is going to be a stepping stone for Edson Alvarez. You know, obviously, you know, you don't really see him feature a lot in the Clausura, you know, and then you go out, he goes out, you know, he does some good things with the national team, and he come. I feel like he's going to get some more minutes, you know, at either at the center back position or playing alongside Guido Rodriguez too as well.
So Edson for you.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, to me, I mean, it doesn't really seem like the breakout player because you know we already seen him break through the first team. You know, you've seen what he can do, which you know, just for him not to feature a lot in the Clausura, you know, I feel like this is going to be big for him in the Apertura too as well because you know, it's probably a future conversation, but for me, I think this might be since last season with America and America jersey in the Apertura. If not, then I see him leaving in a year possibly.
Okay. Okay, we'll talk about Ensign right now. I want to get back to him because I think there's an important discussion to have about him. But I think I'm going with Christian's with what Christian's saying. I think either Diego Lainez or Ibargüen is going to be kind of our breakthrough player of the season.
Yeah, I see that too. I really do. Iwarguen, obviously, you know, it seemed like he was having a little trouble fitting in, but you know, as the season grew, you know, you see him start to get into this 11 as well. Diego Linus too, you know, obviously playing some key parts in the Clausura too as well. You know, not seeing a lot either from him as much. You know, I feel like those are good options too as well. I feel like they're gonna play make an impact, especially with the injuries that we have.
Yeah, yeah, I think so. Let's jump back to that Edson topic because I find it crazy, and I really do. I find it ridiculously crazy that some of us are willing to say that Edson Alvarez isn't even a starter in this team after the World Cup he had. I don't see how Edson doesn't start come Sunday against Necaxa. After the performance he put in the World Cup and after he showcased what he's capable of, I don't see Emmanuel Aguilera starting over him.
I can agree to that. I really can. I really don't see how Emmanuel Aguilar is going to start either.
I think Edson Alvarez has deserved that spot, and Pio Herrera needs to see that because one, it's a waste of a talent because he is absolutely amazing. You just see the way that he played in this World Cup, and two, you can't be telling me that Emmanuel Aguilera is in better form when Emmanuel Aguilera has been making careless mistakes at the back that's costing us games sometimes.
And please, Behold, please don't put him at right back unless first. Just please don't.
No, there's no need. We
Don't.
already
There's
have,
no
we
need.
have George
There's
Sanchez.
no need.
To put him at right back.
There's no need. I know we have Sanchez, but still, I don't know, for some odd reason I feel like we're gonna see just Edson just thrown in there just because.
No, I don't think so. I think we'll be fine. But I think me and you can agree. He needs to start. He needs to start. After the performance he put out in the World Cup, he needs to start.
Ooh, Christian saying, to be honest, I would take Bruno, to be honest, and leave Aguilera in.
I mean, look, either way, as long as Edson starts, I'm just putting that there.
Yeah.
I
think
feel a lot
way.
more safer once Edson starts.
Yeah.
I think he's maturing, and as crazy as that sounds, with one with one full season, what is 2 full seasons now under his belt, it's ridiculous. But
you know what? Let's just put Marchesín at center back and Edson at goalkeeper. Let's do that.
Wait, what?
I'm just kidding.
I was about to say, I was like, wait.
Oh man.
So obviously, I think we know that we want this squad to feature Edson as much as possible. And I guess we can leave it at breakthrough player, either Ibargüen or Linus.
Yeah, I think so.
Or maybe Roger Martinez. We should probably say Roger Martinez too. He'd be actually the best player to have a breakthrough season because that means he'd be scoring goals for us.
Yes, that's a good point too as well. You know, I like to see Roger Martinez break through.
So now comes the part of the show where we love the most, prediction time. All right, we ready for this? It's always fun. It's always fun to try to look into the future because we both know we suck at it. All right, so give me your prediction at the end of, what is it, 17 games?
Yes, 17 games.
At the end of 17 games, where is our beloved Club America in the table?
I want to say top 3, man. Top 3, no less.
No less. Okay, you're going top 3. I'm going one above you. I'm going top 2.
I was gonna say top 2, but I said no. I'll go top 3.
You're playing a little bit safe. I'm playing a little bit more on the wild side. I'm a little bit more courageous in that sense. So we will have a bet come the 17th game, wherever America ends, whether it's top 3 or top 2. We'll discuss the bet and everything, and we'll let everyone know by the beginning of the next episode. But winner of that will have, loser of that will have to do I don't know, something on the pod. Should be we'll think of something. But I think bet aside and everything, I think ultimately a top 3 finish would be ideal.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, even like you said too. We talked about it, we got Copa MX, we got the league to worry about too. But really, I think that's something we'll talk about too. If we really had to choose, I'll take the league title over the Copa MX, to be honest.
I think that's everyone. I already told you the Copa MX doesn't mean anything at this point.
Yeah,
it really doesn't. But I think ultimately it's pretty simple, right? The objective for the team this season is the title. Mm-hmm. Anything below that is going to be considered a failure.
Exactly, a big old fat failure.
Yeah, as always, because why? Because it's the badge, it's the crest, it's what you carry. It symbolizes a lot more than just the team and everything that's going on. So, it's gonna be crazy. So we're putting out there, America needs to win the title, or else it will be a failure of a season. So, anything else you want to add on, Dylan, about this Apertura? Because it's gonna be a wild ride.
No, I mean, we'll just see how this team copes with this adversity right now, especially at the beginning of the season with the loss of Cecilio Dominguez, missing beginning of the season, even though he will come back. But still, this team's gonna have to battle adversity for a little bit, and really the whole season, because we're without Menez too, and that's something that I want to see this team, how they deal with this adversity, how Piojo manages that too as well. I think one thing too that we touched on upon a bunch, a lot of games too, is that the subs. I really didn't like how the subs were handled, especially sometimes so late in the game. finishing too. I mean, the finishing's got to be there. That's something I think we talked about almost every game, and they got to the point to where we're like, you just told me what do we have to do to get this win besides finishing? To me, whenever we talk
Yeah.
about the next game, and
Let's
so you know,
you don't have to talk about that.
yeah, and so those are just some things right there that to keep in mind too as well. If we're looking back at the Clausura, as well going into the Apertura.
Yeah, most definitely. And we'll talk a little bit way more in detail about that come next week when we're previewing against Necaxa, because we'll have a better understanding after playing Atlas and seeing what the team's going to be looking like against Manchester United.
Yes, definitely.
All right, well, still plenty to talk about, and we'll have so much to discuss throughout the full season. So make sure you guys do stick around with us and stay on this amazing roller coaster that is Las Aguilas del América and this Apertura 2018. And with that, I think our season preview is coming to an end.
Yeah, I think so. Shout out to everybody that showed up.
Definitely. Well, we're not done with the podcast yet. Don't be trying to close it out here. We still have a couple of things to discuss. We still have a couple of things, and we do want to give our voice to you, the people who are following us, who are either listening to us live on YouTube, who are listening to us via SoundCloud or iTunes. We thank you. And as always, we do suggest that you do follow us on those platforms, because if you miss a live show for whatever reason, you guys can always find us on those platforms. Always keep us in your pocket and have us ready for on the go. So now, Dylan, we have a pretty big announcement to be made, because we're going to be, well, not we, because unfortunately you're not there with me, but one of us being me, we'll be going down to Fresno tomorrow, and we'll be there for the game against America versus Atlas. I'll be going down there. We'll be getting there to see the fan fest, and hopefully that we can. I can meet a whole bunch of you guys. I'm gonna be down there at the Fan Fest, trying to take as much pictures, taking as much video. I'm gonna try to get as much interviews as I can with you, the fans. So if you guys do live in the Fresno area, if you guys are going to be there, I know it's gonna be hotter than I don't even think I can use that word in a family related podcast, but it's gonna be extremely hot. So make sure you do come very hydrated. But if you guys do get there in time, make sure you guys do come by, say hi. I'm take a couple of pictures with you guys, and definitely I'm gonna try to get to interview you guys, because I want to hear from your guys' perspective what you guys want out of this team for the Apertura. So I know that we got a couple of people in the chat. Shout out to Alex, shout out to Steph, who are gonna be at the game as well, and everyone, hopefully everyone that's out there, is going to be going down there, and I can meet you all, and we can all talk and have a great time. And hell, afterwards, maybe we can all go and get a drink somewhere. That'd be pretty cool.
I don't even know what to say. It just feels like plans made without me.
I mean, don't blame me. It was the podcast who wanted to send me. They were like, all right, we gave Dylan the vacation to Tahiti and to the Galapagos. Let's give you somewhere to go, even though it's going to be hot and it's going to be actual work. So don't be complaining, because you got the better end of the deal here. Okay?
I can't help it. Management loves me more.
Yeah, that's true. I can't even argue with that. But shout out to everyone who actually has come out here and supported us. Everyone that's followed us on Twitter. We're so close to that 300 mark. Make sure you guys do follow us at the Eagle Eye Pod. It's in the description of the podcast notes today as well. Because once we reach to 300, Dylan, we're giving away something pretty special, aren't we?
We are very special.
Management still won't let us talk about it because we are not there yet. But the moment that we do get close, we will be letting you guys know exactly what that giveaway is going to be. So make sure you guys do follow us. Make sure you guys tell your friends. Make sure you guys tell your parents, your abuelita, your abuelito, your neighbor, the milkman. I don't care who you tell, but make sure that they go and give a follow to the Eagle Eye podcast page and help us grow. Because at the end of the day, we do this for you guys, and the more that we can grow and the more that we can expand, the better it is for all of us, really. At the end of the day, we really want to grow this community and showcase why it is that America is the best team in the world, because we have the best fans in the world as well. So anything you want to add on to that, Dylan?
We are worldwide. I mean, none of this is possible without y'all guys. So we really do appreciate all the support, all the interactions with whether you're here on the live show or you're interacting with us on Twitter. So I mean, just all the support, and none of this is possible without y'all guys too as well.
No, really, and we mean that from the bottom of our heart because I think tomorrow isn't even possible without you guys. Really, for the fact that I'm gonna be able to go down to Fresno, be able to meet all of you guys, and be able to go have a media pass and be able to go kind of experience that. That really goes down to all of you guys. So thank you so much. I know it looks like we may not be big numbers, but I know that we can reach them, and ultimately, you guys are the core to this community. You guys are the core to this show. So thank you so much as well. We're growing steadily. We haven't even been doing this for a year, and I think me and Dylan are extremely fortunate to have the support that we have today.
Yes, definitely blessed to have all this support.
So thank you guys so much. We have such an amazing year ahead of us. I think me and Dylan have so many great plans for the podcast, so many great ideas for the channel as well. And hopefully you guys are ready to enjoy that roller coaster of a ride. I do want, before we end the podcast, I do want to say this. Football Forever wrote, loser takes a shot of tequila on the pod. If you're all age, of course. And to that, I'll say maybe.
That's you though. You're the only one of age.
Well, I mean, YouTube doesn't ID.
That's true. That's true.
I'm just
That's
saying.
very true.
But yeah, huge shout out to all of you. We're gonna try to do our best to incorporate you guys into this season as well, and into the upcoming seasons as well. I think the most important thing is not for us to, our goal is to always try to be the voice of you guys, and to kind of be the voice of what you guys want, but we also want your own voice to be able to come on here and be able to express yourself and kind of talk about the team just the way that we talk about, because at the end of the day, we're just two guys that probably know nothing about anything, and we're just here rambling on. But you guys enjoy it, and we enjoy doing it as well. And we always want to be able to give other people a platform that they can always come on and talk about, the one true love of their life, which is always going to be America.
Exactly, man. Exactly. Look at you, man. I mean, lifelong fan, and here I am. Just very like 6 years of America fan. 7 years. I mean, it's the beauty of the game too, as well.
It is. It's beautiful. The fact that we get to do this and interact with so many people, it really is amazing. So I think with that said, we're running out of time here, but I think our season preview is coming to an end.
Shout out to Christian being here first in the chat and group chat.
That's true. Not just to him, but to everyone that has come on to the new home of the Eagle Eye podcast. I mean, we're expecting a lot of great things in this new channel. It was something that we really wanted to do at the beginning, and now we're making it possible. We're starting off small as always, but we're definitely gonna grow. And so make sure you guys do spread the word. Make sure you guys do get people knowing that, hey, the podcast has moved on to a new channel. We'll do our best to spread the love as well. Dylan, anything else you want to add on?
Oh no, we covered everything. We talked about everything.
All right. Well, with that said, ladies and gentlemen, it's been the Eagle Eye Podcast, episode 28, first one on the new channel, and hopefully the first of many more to come on here. We got so many great ideas, so many plans, so hopefully you guys do stick around. And with that said, America has a long season ahead, but I'm hopefully being as adamant as possible without being too unrealistic. We can go and we can contend with this team that we have. Dylan, thank you as always for coming on to the show and always being the co-host.
No problem, man. No problem at all. I love this.
I know I wouldn't trade this for the world either. We'll be seeing you guys over there at Fresno tomorrow. When you guys do hear this, if you guys do end up hearing this on Wednesday, I will be seeing you guys later on tonight. It should be fun. So make sure you guys do go. I'm going to try to get as much of interaction as I can before I have to actually start to check in and go inside with the media. So I'll be down there at the Fan Fest. Make sure you guys bring your selfie sticks and your cameras. I can't wait to meet all of you guys, and I can't wait to chat and interview as many of you as possible. Dylan. Oh, wait, I said thank you already. Never mind. Sometimes I feel like I need a teleprompter right here just so I can be reading it off and not get confused.
Teleprompters are expensive, though.
I know. That's why we're just probably gonna hire like a seventh grader to just kind of be typing something up right here.
And or you have those little signs, just this poster, like a poster,
And one of them's upside down.
and you just start going.
But again, thank you every single one of you guys. Make sure you guys do follow us on Twitter at Eagle Eye Pod, and we'll be seeing you guys next week to preview what is going to be the first game of the Apertura in what should be an exciting season. Until then, ladies and gentlemen, take care. Hasta la próxima, and as always, arriba la América.